What's up, guys? Today we're going to be checking out the brand new M&K X15 Plus subwoofer. So shout out to the guys at M&K for sending this over for a review. Thank you, guys. But first, let's go over a few tech specs. This is a pretty big subwoofer. Size-wise, it measures 32 inches high by 20 inches wide by 18 inches deep, and it weighs 134 pounds. I'll put the exact measurements and weight on screen. As far as frequency response, this goes down to 16 to 200 Hertz. It is powered by a Class D 700 watt amplifier with peaks of up to 1400 watts. And up front, you will find two 15-inch drivers in a push-pull configuration. One of them is going to be located up front, and the other one is going to be located on the bottom. All right, so on the back, you can see there's a switch here. So it's either in the up position, it's a fixed low-pass 80 Hertz filter, or if you put it in the center, this will control the variable knobs. So either variable low pass or variable crossover. So the variable phase is from 0 to 180 degrees, or we've got a variable crossover from 50 to 125 Hertz. Then if we take the switch and put it down to the bottom, this is the no low pass THX mode. Here we got another switch for THX bass EQ or anechoic M&K EQ. And the second switch here, we've got either THX fixed volume level or variable. So if it's a variable, we have the volume knob here, which you can raise or lower. There's also balanced ins and outs, your standard unbalanced ins and outs. There's also the power inlet and then the main power switch. So it's either on, auto on off, or you can turn it completely off. As far as the finish, this comes in a satin black finish, which has a little bit of shine to it. It's not glossy like an actual glossy speaker, but it's also not matte either, so there's a little bit of shine on it. And this is also a THX Dominus certified subwoofer. Let's go ahead and get this thing set up in the home theater, and I'll give you some thoughts and impressions. I'm going to be placing the subwoofer in the front corner of my room. It'll be hooked up to a Trinnov altitude processor, with the demos being played back with a Zapiti and a Kaleidoscape. I won't be using any room correction from the Trinnov. Instead, I'll only be using what's built into the subwoofer to get it to blend in with my system. The first demo we're going to check out is The Greatest Showman on the Kaleidoscape. It's a musical, so I wanted to see how punchy this big box could be. Just a disclaimer, I could only use the beginning of the movie or else I'd get hit for copyright usage for any songs. That said, for such a big subwoofer, it's got the attack of a smaller 12-incher. The initial stop and go from those bass hits feels like an out-of-nowhere smack to the face, then dead silence, with a no overhang to let you know it was there. I wasn't expecting that type of accuracy, but it definitely delivered for not only this demo, but any type of music I played through it. Next up, something a little more explosive, Underwater on the Kaleidoscape. It's got a DTS 5.1 mix with these quick successive hits that ends in some ultra low frequency extension. I figured because it was so quick with music that when those back-to-back explosions hit, it'd be so rapid fire, you'd feel it right up on your body. And that's exactly how it came across. Rapid fire succession, pop, 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 then a bass drop that makes it feel like your bowels might have just dropped off. This is an impressive demo that needs a sub that can dig low and play clean. The X15 Plus delivers again. If you want a film that is not shy on bass to the point where you can barely make out the dialogue, Interstellar is the movie for you. The launch scene has such a deep, sustained presence that with really large subs, it's so heavy you could almost reach out and grab it. Prepare for stage 1 separation. Now, because the X15 Plus is so quick and responsive, it has that light, airy pop and go type of speed to its driver, so it wasn't quite able to give me that really heavy pressurized feeling that I've heard from, say, 18-inch drivers and larger. What I got was a lighter level of pressurization, which was very clean and free of any bloatiness. I suppose if I had two of these, then I'd get the type of sensation I've heard from larger subs. It was still impressive and didn't distort, playing it well above my comfort level.
Separation.
And finally, we're going to give it the Edge of Tomorrow test. This drops into the infrasonic realm and will separate the men from the boys.
I'm not sure if we're even on the air.
This no doubt has some chops down low, although I have had some subs that can create the hair vibrating on the back of your neck type of response. The X15 flirts with it, but comes up a little short. I mean, there's still plenty of drywall cracking bass, it's just not hitting single digits. Again, I think if I had two of these, it might be a different story. It's still super impressive, plays very clean, and had no issues rattling the dishes 3 rooms over. Now, I did take a measurement from my listening seat. Keep in mind that this is the response I got in my space, so it'll likely be very different for yours. Having only a single sub, I always get a nasty dip between 40 and 50 Hz, which could attribute to some of the things I heard in these demos, although I could flatten this out some using the processor's room correction. But as it stands, this was out-of-the-box performance using the subwoofer's adjustments. With room gain, I did get extension down to 10 Hz, which is impressive, and you can see my crossover was set to 80 Hz. At the time of this video, the X15 Plus is selling for $6,000. This is flagship pricing for a flagship subwoofer. It ranks up there with the absolute best subwoofers I've tested, only being bested by less than a handful of more expensive subs. Now, there are some subwoofers out there that include built-in DSP with room correction and dedicated apps, which can be a useful addition for system setup. So maybe in a future iteration that'll be included, otherwise you'll just have to use whatever comes built into your receiver or processor. Sound-wise, it does come up a little short for the absolute deepest, heaviest extension, but for everything else, it was top tier. I know it's a THX certified sub, and folks might not think THX and music go together, but like I said earlier, this is one speedy, accurate sounding sub. The attack was lightning quick, and it can drop some serious bombs for movie reproduction. And here's a little fun fact. M&K was the name behind the first powered subwoofer back in 1977, so as it stands, it should be one of the best sounding subwoofers out there. And I can attest that it is indeed one of the best sounding subwoofers I've ever heard. Well, those are my thoughts on the M&K X15 Plus THX certified subwoofer. Have you ever heard an M&K subwoofer, and if so, how'd you like the sound quality? Leave a comment down below and let me know. As always guys, thanks for watching. Like the video if you found it useful, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you again in the next video.